Welcome in, everyone, to episode 89 of Coffee and Chel. Myself, No Sleeves, joined by my two co-hosts, Padre and Papa. And fellas, as you can see on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, 99 Hut is here. We've got a lot on the docket to talk about in today's episode, including more Chel drama, not just from the gaming world or the NHL World Championship on the NA side, but we also had some drama overseas as the Europeans finished off one of their portions of the World Championship, and there were some controversial Eki clips that we'll talk about. On top of that, we're going to discuss fantasy cards because we're at 99 Hut. And I also want to talk about rewards going forward because we're in this kind of like weird phase after Team of the Year. Well, technically Team of the Year is still going on, but you know what I mean. So, first things first, we need to discuss what we were doing in our lives. So this past week, Padre, what was the best place you went out and ate?
Oh gosh, we go to this Mexican place. It's in St. Louis called Espino's. It's a place. It's pretty much like it's a family-owned place, so it's authentic Mexican. We love I love spicy food. So,
Okay.
the waitress there, she loves my kids. Like she has their names like memorized. Like she's just like she's so good with our kids, so that's like a plus. And then she like gives us like free drinks and like does all this stuff and like hooks us up and like we don't even ask for it. So it's one of those things where we like go there kind of like once a week and it sucks because she's leaving to move down to the lake. Well, you guys have probably seen the show Ozarks. That's the lake she's moving down to, the Ozarks.
Oh, like,
so,
really?
yeah, that's where it's like done. Even though part of the show's done in the Ozarks, and part of it's done. I can't remember where else it is, but
Really?
yeah. So she's cool, and yeah, we go there always, and yeah, we went there, and I mean, we got to eat way too much. Me and my wife talked about this the other day.
You do, my man.
Wait, what percent tip is she getting for this service, though?
Oh, well, it just depends. Like, so she the bill like varies every time. We get the same thing every time, but like sometimes it'll be like 30 some bucks, and then it's next time like if she really charges us, it'll be like 40 bucks. So it's just like random. So like I try to factor it in, right? So she's like, I try to like give like a decent tip every time, just to.
Do you add it up or do you just ballpark it in terms
No,
of
I literally give her like a $20 tip almost every time, which is
and you're on like a $60 bill?
No, like a $20 bill. I'll do $20 because,
Oh,
like
bro!
She knows what she's doing.
You getting her number? $20 on a $20 meal, bro. Yo.
Well, because it's really like a 40 some odd dollar meal. That's what I'm saying. So like that's why I'm saying she like hooks us up. So it's like I feel like I'm like okay, like
okay. I respect
it. I rather give my money to her than the people that are there. So
yeah, true. Okay. All right. What did you anything crazy in your world, Brent?
Well, today is my birthday, so
no, it's
oh my god!
Wait, the whole day or like in 10 minutes?
No, right now, the 16th.
Wow. What do you bury the lead? We don't know each other that well.
We had no clue today.
Also, your birthday is 13 days before mine, so okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So basically, I'm now 365-day countdown to being 30.
Oh man, I didn't even think. I thought you were 30. You're a baby boy.
I mean, I look 30, but I'm not quite there yet.
It is.
And it's like it's the wrinkles and like the dad face and all that. But the thing though this weekend though, so as I was telling you Sleeves earlier, I got my son. Like, he asked me, he's like, Dad, can I like try playing NHL?
Oh, dude,
I was like, sure, man. Like, so I get him on my Hut team and I put him in rookie squad battles, and he just blows the rookie squad battles out of the water, like 10-0. I'm like, all right, let's move up to semi-pro. He ends up winning 5-0, 5-0, 7-0. I'm like, all right, pro mode. Okay, then he wins 5-1, 6-1, and I'm like,
yo, he's getting close.
He's like, Dad, can I like try All-Star? And I was like, yeah, no problem, man. Like go, let's try it. He's 2-0 on All-Star mode.
Dude, you're close to superstar, and when he gets to superstar, bro, you've got like a I don't know, you're outsourcing. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Because he gets like the basic rules. He understands offsides, but also have like the flashing light as soon as the guy's offside flashes red in the zone. Like, yeah, me too. Which is like kind of convenient.
Yeah.
For him, and he gets like icing and all that. And he won his first game 3-2. and then he won his second game 4-2 with an empty netter. And his favorite card so far is Hillary Knight, Team of the Year. Like, whatever reason, he just flicks up with her and just goes in the net every time. I'm like watching. He's like getting hat tricks with Hillary Knight. I'm like, what's going on here?
Dude, how old is your son?
He's turning 9 in a week today.
Oh my God!
So he's in grade 3.
I have like 8.5 more years before I can not have to play squad battles anymore and get rewards.
Oh yeah, it's actually
That's
my
the
goal
dream.
is I want him to be able to max my rewards on Superstar by NHL 25. I think that'd be hilarious. That like, hey buddy, all right, it's the weekend. Here's the controller. Please,
Wow.
get going, man. This is your part of the team.
I have no power as a game changer. It has been documented that we have no power. Everyone thinks we do. If Squad Battles is in the game by the time Landon is 9, I'm going to cause a ruckus. So, all right. Well, that's actually low-key awesome for all the dads out there that get a kid.
I got one funny thing too, though, about this. So, he's like, Dad, I got a question for you. And I was like, what's up, man? And he's like, I just got an interference penalty. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, interference is when you accidentally hit the wrong guy, and like that'll give you interference penalty because you're interfering with the guy. And he looks at me and goes, well, doesn't really make any sense because I went to shoot the puck and I got an interference penalty. And I was like, oh, buddy, that's NHL 24 for you. Don't worry about that.
That's actually so good.
Even my son is going, there's something a little funky with the interference in this game. And I'm just had to pat him on the back and go, don't worry, man. It's just in the game.
Happens
Don't
to
worry
the best
about
of
it.
us, man. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, that's good, wholesome fun there. I don't really have anything that I did over the week. I was still sick after my little vacation away, and I am in. I was doing the Sharks event, their Sixes event, as well as the Leafs Gaming League event. We'll talk about in a little bit, and it's one of those weeks where like every single night I have something to do, and super frustrating because I can't get like a normal day, and I'm like a routine Roger where I just want to have the same day for a little while, get into a habit, get into a little roll. And I just can't because I have something every night. But good news is that soon I am literally in another city every single week. So that to look forward to as the All-Star Game approaches. Speaking of the All-Star Game and the All-Star Weekend, our man Deli has now become not only just like Twitch famous among the hardcore Twitch viewers of the NHL directory. A lot of my viewers and listeners of our podcast are mostly just YouTubers or the YouTube viewers and watch, and are just casual fans. So you might not know who Duncan Deli is, but my goodness, did he get a spotlight shined on him on the weekend as he blew up over Reddit. You had his viewership jumped up like 75 viewers the next day. So I don't know where to start with this. Lay the land of what happened. I'll set the scene.
Yeah,
I'll set the scene, and then Stu can probably tell a story because he was like in it.
And
what
Stewie
else
is a
new?
great storyteller. He'll do a great job.
He is the best storyteller out of the three of us. So the All-Star Open was this weekend. Or yes, it was this weekend. You had to play 25 games, much like Hut Champs, and essentially the top 8 on PlayStation and the top 8 on Xbox Series X would qualify for the playoff round. And then what'll happen is everyone will play down. We'll get to our final 4, and those 4 people will be flown out to the All-Star Game weekend event that I am going to in Toronto, and they will play for I think there's cash prize, and they'll play whoever making it there. They've booked their ticket to a club championship and all of that. So big implications, and it's kind of the kickoff event of the NHL esports season. So that's going on this weekend. And the thing I love about the World Championship, and as someone who is a complete viewer now, I can't play in it. Not that I would compete or do anything, but I can't even play the qualification games for the packs. So I love to hop around the streams because this is when, like, even if you want to avoid biggies, like, you still end up with some. And every once in a while, the second 2 people match, which is my favorite thing. The second 2 people match that are like, oh, yeah. Like, you'll see viewership spike on even guys that get like 20 viewers a stream or 10 viewers a stream. So Deli, one of the loudest people in the community, has made waves by his use of glitch goals and playing a less than nice, I don't know what the right word would be, a very honorable way to play NHL. He
He's
does
a bit
not do
abrasive.
that. Yes. So what ends up happening is, have you ever seen him lose, or really any of the top players lose on stream? Some of them can be prone to a little bit of a meltdown. Deli took it to the next level. So, Stu, let's break down a little bit what happened. Paraphrase for the people that missed it and why it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think it was the day before, maybe too. He was 14 or 13-0, and he played Loco Krusty, who's a notorious, like top 10 or
He's
5.
making a name for himself this year.
Yeah, and we'll see how he does in peer to peer.
Yeah,
but
we will.
So, which he did prove himself, not really that much.
Dude, I went to bed for that. That's
I'll
why I'm
get
so
to that
frustrated.
anyway. So he played him. I guess he lost in overtime.
Yep.
He tried
Tip
to
shot.
he tried to rag him, which this year the ragging is kind of weird because it's like ozone ragging, even though it's kind of part of hockey because it's in the ozone. It's just the game's really dumb this year with the pressure system, so it's kind of like it's really hard once you get that. Deli lost the puck. He went and scored, tied the game, went to overtime. Guy forced a pass through like 5 guys, like always, because he plays on 2 ping, and he scored. And then just, chat erupts. They all go after Deli. All the French guys come in. It's like the bat signal. Once you play one French guy, the bat signal, their whole chat comes in, and yada yada yada.
All the clicks show up. It's very fun. This is what I meant by. This is what I meant by when 2 biggies match.
Yes. So then the next day, he goes live again. He's still 14-1. He's playing Zach's Goated is his name. Deli loses to him. The chat's erupting because you had really no room for error in this tournament because you had to get top 8, and that's 2 losses. So then the crusty guy doubles out. And at this point, anybody out there that I know that this isn't to everybody that watches Twitch, but Duncan Deli, I've known him for a long time. If you think it's all 100% real, it's a little WWE. Okay, so. His dad used to play the game, so when his dad calls him on the phone from the landline upstairs, which was one of the funniest things in the world.
That might be one of the best clips of the last year and a half.
It's hilarious, right? So it's real, but it's like it's
the show.
Yes,
100%.
He's unbothered by it. By the way, he is not embarrassed by it, but it is still a pretty real reaction in the moment.
It's embarrassing for anybody that knows.
Normal,
I'm somebody's come on, Jesus. But at this point, I'm like, whatever, dude. My buddy Exposed, he's massive now in the gambling community, and he acts like a complete imbecile. But he's huge because he does act like an imbecile. And I'm not saying Deli will ever get to that point because it's NHL, but you get my point. Which that guy started out playing Call of Duty, now he's playing freaking poker with Dana White and Drake. So you never know. I don't know. Whatever. So right. So. Kind of the similar kind of reactions, just goofy stuff like pouring water on himself, spitting on his camera. He did the dumbest stuff back in the day. Deli does a lot of dumb stuff too. So he ends up playing, loses. The whole chat's erupting. His viewers are just going up and up and up. And like I said, when I call this WWE, he's texted me before when he's doing these freakouts. Look at these numbers rising. So he knows what he's doing. So when anybody is like, oh my God, he's almost in tears. I'm sorry, people. I know it sounds like it could be or it might be, but it's really not. And I know it's fun to believe he might be crying, but he's really not. But it is funny to watch him because he looks like an idiot when he's jumping up and down like the GIF you made of BBG where he looks like the Mario Kart guy hitting the buttons, the points. Remember that thing that you made, Sleeves?
Dude, that was my old editor, which is one of the best clips I've ever seen.
It's so funny. So Deli loses. So then Loco Krusty gets the idea because apparently Loco Krusty can't play the rest of the tournament because he's not able to. I guess he's going on vacation or something like that. I don't know. Which is why he gave away 3 or 4 wins for free to people too. But that's another
spoiling.
Story.
You're jumping out of line here.
So anyway, so he plays Deli. He beats Deli. He beats Deli. Deli beats him. Then he beats Deli twice. But at that point,
he got him 4 games in a row. So this dude,
right?
Yeah, so Deli's searching on stream, and for the most part, what happens when people like Deli search. Everyone reverse stream snipes. So unlike when I play, people want to play me because
it's actually easy.
It's exactly. So, but when
these are the points and the record,
you can see when you're searching. The problem was that Loco knows that his game is toes. And I will say this: the day before when they originally played, and Deli tried to rag him, and he failed at it, and ended up costing himself tying goal, which was just an absolute pants down moment, and ended up losing. He went on a rant that he asked for the second day. However, Loco then snipes him 4 times in a row. At which point, like, Deli goes on.
The run's chalked.
It's over. Yeah, it's now over. He's just playing for packs. He's playing out his run. And Deli's reaction was absolutely insane to it. But what ends up like, another issue though with that is like when you get to these tournaments, and this is something I talked about recently over the last little while, is that like I think that so many people on the top end rely on this tournament to carry their interest in not just Hut but in the NHL video game, that you get like the emotions of some of these guys are just like off the charts. Like, and Deli definitely knows and plays into it a little bit, but bro, like originally when he's losing in game, like that's him.
Oh yeah,
like that's him. Yeah, like he is.
Mhm.
And he reminds me a lot of Josh Fearless.
But
younger.
you know what's funny is when it was going on, I have his dad's phone number. Don't ask why. I don't know why I do. And like because I've known his dad since NHL 09. That's basically why. And I texted his dad. I go, please call right now the landline. So he did it once, and Ben like was or Deli
And he
was
puts
not
him on
answering.
speaker. That's my favorite
Yeah,
part, and it's
yeah,
so
so-
wholesome. Like he like is like.
Well, his dad is like my dad would be like, "What are you doing? You're like not grounded, but like when I was younger, he'd be like, you're grounded.
I'm out of the house.
You're off the game. Like you're or like, and then at that age, my dad would kick me out of the house.
Yeah.
But so his dad's like almost just like, why don't you just get off the game and come up and we'll talk for a little bit and then go back down and recollect your thoughts.
And
Like,
Dad, you don't get it.
Yeah.
I need to play these games, and they're like arguing.
I'm getting
about
sniped
the game.
4 times in a row. Like it was just like,
Dad, you don't get it. You're shit at the game.
well, it was funny because so like he called like once and he didn't answer. So I tell his dad, I go, keep spamming it because it's so funny listening to that landline just ring and ring and ring. He called him like 7 times before he finally answered because his dad like was like dying laughing. He's like, because he texted me, he's like, is Ben just really not better than this guy? I'm like, no. I'm like, it's kind of hard to explain because here's the thing that people don't get. So then the games are over, the stream's going crazy, 500 probably viewers max. It was wild. Like it was everyone's arguing. People were saying.
I went to
stuff.
bed at this point when his run was dead, which was a mistake.
You know, people are calling Deli all these names and slinging mud. Like some of it was some unnecessary stuff. He's arguing with people in the chat, and then he gets to like the end where he's like, okay, like play me for money. That's like his favorite line. Well, Krusty shockingly does play for money. Wasn't his account that he used. He used Desi's account for some reason because I didn't understand that whole thing, but. I don't know.
He's
Is
younger,
Loco
something
18?
like
Well, it doesn't matter on Saloon because I used to play Gren on Saloon when he was like 14.
It doesn't matter, but like it might. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't. There was something weird about he didn't want to send the 50. I don't know. Whatever. So Desi put up the $50 for him, and Deli beat him in the series. Like he beat him, and it was peer to peer.
In 3 games, beat him by a goal in like game 3. It was a super close series. Yeah.
It's the thing, man. Like. Which is hilarious that
game.
I didn't, because I went to bed and I didn't realize that happened. He actually played him because Deli was just like, you won't play me for a cent. And this guy beat him 3 out of 4 games on server. And it just kind of like proves like a bigger point. And like, is that like the server connection, whether you want to admit it or not, is in the NHL video game just impacts the gameplay so hard. And we've talked about this a little bit, but I mentioned a little. I have legitimately covered every big esports event for the last 4 years. And it is always surprising to me that the most famous region of good players, like if you live in Ontario and you match someone with Quebec, you assume they're good or they're paying or whatever. It's going to be a sweaty game. That's what you assume. And they do have a lot of great players. But there has been so few that have made it into portions of tournaments when you get into 1v1 and when you get into versus. Like CAD is the old, yeah, I think you're right too, because I think
Niv,
yeah,
Fool,
and
Eki.
yes,
or not Eki, sorry,
CAD, yeah. So it just doesn't happen, and it's like there's a clear thing here because over the last 3 years, man, like there has been tons of great players that are from Quebec, but it's just like it's like the Europeans. We talk about this a lot. Is that there's a lot of good European players, but their depth of competition is so much smaller just because of the lack of population. Like it's so much more dominant in North America in terms of just good amount of not great, but good players. So like even when you want to play a random rivals game, it is 10 times harder than what you will play in a region where you don't have a lot of a population, right? And it's the same kind of situation because like Quebec players, they're going to match a lot the mostly match players that are from Quebec, and they're both on 2 ping, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
But they also match a lot of players from East and Central, and they have a significant advantage. And when you're not tested at playing on higher pings, when you go to Versus and it's 1v1, like it's just going to be more difficult because you're not used to it. It's the same thing for West people. Like for a long time, I think that's why John was so good, because John was just he was like Bane, born in bad connections, and then he would get to the tournament stage, and you'd have to ping 50 to him, and he would just dominate, and for a lot
he's used to the bad ping.
Exactly.
Whereas these guys that weren't are like in shambles playing on like 100 peer to peer.
Yeah, and it's becoming something like a storyline that I've now like I never really paid attention to, but it's like there's so many good Quebec players. Like I can list off like 10 that I would consider in my top 30 maybe in North America, and like one will make it, and it's just that's what happens.
So the thing is, I was like with Sky, I was talking to him and Regs, and we were going through like the top 50 leaderboard of Xbox, and like Papa's on there and stuff, and there's different guys on there. It was funny, and I swear, like out of the 50, there was probably like 30 QC guys, and then like maybe 7 to 8 West guys, and then like the rest are just whatever. And that's what makes Regs and Sky's run so impressive, is they got top 8. And like I know Sky lives like upstate New York, and he's playing on like 35 to 40 every game, and Regs is doing the same thing, which is crazy because like for example, like this is the first weekend where I like noticed it, where I was like playing a little bit of Hut Champs, and then I'd play like the All-Star, and it was like night and day, because in Hut Champs you could just set your ping to 20, and I'm not getting those QC guys nonstop. The minute I went to the All-Star, I probably played 14, 15 guys this weekend that were just Quebec, and I was
How
on their
come?
server.
Was there no minimum or max? I couldn't play.
Oh, it's 40's the minimum.
Oh,
So when it's
why
40,
is that? That's
I don't know, and so
interesting.
because of the way, because they want everyone to be able to play. But the problem is I just keep going to Quebec. I'm going to Quebec. I made a joke. I'm like, I played 7 of my last 8 games in the Bell Center. Like I was joking about it, and it's literally, it's so hard to play. I made a joke before the podcast. Papa, I was like, or I was telling him earlier today, I think it was. I was like, John Wayne, he used to play like on 50-something ping, and he would always be like, McDavid feels like crap, but Rantanen feels great. I'm like,
yeah.
because he's slower.
Yeah.
And I'm almost thinking like for this tournament, it's like maybe I should just, like, when I have to do those open play things, just like go with a slower team, because those other guys, the elite edges doesn't feel the same. The speed doesn't feel the same because everything's so delayed, kind of, sort of. And people like will roll their eyes and act like I'm making it. It really is a thing. I don't know how to describe it, and it's actually funny enough. So I had like my Nighthawk. I've had it for years, and
I'm the one that told you to get it.
Yeah, like I bought it in, I don't even know what year it was.
I had it in 21 because I was sick of the same people getting it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was like around that, like
20. For anyone that doesn't know what the Nighthawk is, so it's made by Netgear, and it's a router that has geofiltering, so you can literally choose a region on like a map, and it'd be like, I only want to ping here. So because they use AWS servers, you can literally, I would set my circle around Ohio, which used to be the east or the central server, and I get like 30, but other people in central area would also get 30, and I would never play Quebec players because I was just sick of it. It was like literally every single day in NHL 20 and 21, or maybe it was 21 and 22.
Yeah,
and then I just stopped because I didn't care enough. I don't know if it works is the same, but
so I literally think for someone like me, it would only work 2 days of the year. The 2 weekends of the year, the open play weekends, because it's everyone's open to 40. Because I just tested it before we did this podcast for an hour with Dirt Star Blaster, who's a notorious, worked on the Amazon AWS server, which is what EA uses. He knows all about this stuff, and Dirt was like stunned. He's like, you don't get anybody to your server. I'm like, we were literally sitting there for an hour. I kept blocking Virginia, blocking Quebec, blocking West Coast, because I get everybody. So if I search it, because you're supposed to, with the router, you're supposed to be able to search any ping, because you want to pull it. You want to be able to pull them to your server. So my server's in the middle of the country. I was blocking Oregon. I was blocking. I mean, I could not get a game for an hour. And like I guess it's just you're kind of just screwed.
Yeah,
you're just screwed. And it is what it is. So I guess for the 2 open plays for the year, I mean, but if you're Brent and you're up in Vancouver, you can pull people to yours because everyone in that area has to come to you, and it's like one of those things.
But there's not a lot of, because the only people that would come to me would be guys that ping Cali normally, and I'd be pulling them to me. And there's like there's
Not a lot
like
of
5
different-
players in
yeah.
California. This is
Right.
like, it doesn't really matter for me. I get it for other guys in
Yeah.
different regions. In ours, it makes like no difference.
So,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, so basically it only will matter for me if everyone's, because here's the thing now with so years ago, back to what you said, season like 21 or 20,
Yeah.
they didn't have the ping thing where you could like put your ping
Yeah,
at
you
a
couldn't
certain
set the
thing in the
maximum.
game.
You just got
There was no min and maximum. Now that they have that, everybody's smart enough. They're like, well, I'm not going to play rivals, which is what happened tonight. I'm not going to play rivals on anything under 20 and under. So I couldn't get anybody. But like I said, the only 2 days where I think it would work is if it's, you know,
they have to search 40, right?
Exactly.
and it's just like one of those things where, like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I live in the middle of the country. I can't do anything about it. So, it's one of those like type of things where I hope that they, they edit the.
They'll never go back to peer to peer. And
yeah.
it's so funny how everyone. I remember when I first like got into the community, when I first started creating content, that was like the big. It was like the GM connected thing. Every year it was like we need dedicated servers, and like I remember talking to Ben, being like, "Man, that's not like it doesn't work the same for hockey as it would for like shooters, because every game experiences latency when they're in peer-to-peer and things like that." So kind of crazy. As someone, there's very few players that have ever experienced 20 or 30 ping and actually been able to play on 2. I'm a rare one of that, because when I go to DC to go to District E and have to stream from there, I get to ping Virginia on the most insane internet connection connected to Capital One Arena. And I matched tons of QCs when I was there, and it was the guys that I would always get in the afternoon, and it was night and day. Like, it's just an unfortunate reality. It's just an unfortunate reality. So, it is what it is.
But going back to what you said with the crusty thing, so the people that don't understand it, so we're on servers for HUT, but when you go to peer to peer, it's in Versus, and it's in whatever you want to call it, like the player friend in HUT.
Player friend,
player friend. So it is a big deal though, because during the bracket portion, you could pull somebody if you had one of those routers. You could pull somebody to like your server. That's going to be a big deal, because like if I played Brent and he had it, he would pull me to his. And
what if you had it too? Then we're both trying to pull each other, and it's checkmate to each
other.
No,
then you won't match, and like, and what ends up happening is like
failed probably.
Yeah, you'll get failed. What happens with World of Chel. But like, to wrap this up a little bit, so what ends up happening is like Deli and Loco Krusty, they have like their war, and it kind of ends. And then I want to stress this, because I'm involved with the World Championship. Every year there are like 10 guys that they have to deal with, that because they catch people win trading or manipulating the standings or games or coin selling. Yep. Yeah. Playing on another guy's account. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you how easy it is to track. Here is an example. If you have someone that you think that you want to have a buddy of yours that is better than you, hop on your account. When you load into a game, EA has a HUT API that is not public, like the Sixes one is. They can legitimately see your IP address. And the first thing that they will do when they look to the leaderboards is they will make sure that there's no discrepancy in IP. And if there's a massive one, like someone, hey, is in New York, and then 20 minutes later they're in Chicago, that's how you get banned. It happens every year. I've been doing this now for 4 or 5 seasons, and it happens every single year. Win trading, same thing. Coin selling, trading cards, like giving away your cards. Like, guys, if you're needing to do that stuff, you are not going to win. And I can't stress this enough. If you only care about qualifying, that is such a lame mentality to have, because that's just Twitter bio nonsense. I think that
I got top 64 in USA. And
it drives me nuts. Like, if you have a shot like to win, then it really shouldn't matter, and you shouldn't have to take things. So helping out your buddies and stuff like that, like, it's just
lying, manipulating,
search. Like, that's it. Yeah,
falsifying proof.
You think of it this way: most of the guys that are actually contenders are close to or are free to play. Like, a lot of those guys, like uninstall basically hasn't spent
because they
much
don't need
money.
to spend money on the game.
Hasn't spent much money. I don't think Regs has spent much money. There's a lot. I mean, like back in the day, Josh was notorious for saying he wouldn't spend a dime on the game. So the guys that because they get the rewards every week, they don't need to spend the extra money. They get their their teams boosted up over time through their rewards.
Other than Nippon.
So
He might be the only GWC qualifier of all time that will
will
still drop 10 bans on the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to bring that up because here is what I'm like, for anyone out there that is a top player that is listening to this episode thinking that we're gonna spill some tea. I want to be very, very clear here. If the GWC or the World Championship doesn't exist, what happens to you guys? Like for you, even my two co-hosts, they literally play Hockey Ultimate Team because they have an addiction, and like me, and the tournament. And when if that were to just go away, because stuff like this, where it's like having to deal with this extra just crap, the National Hockey League, like enough, knock it off. Like that's all I want to say is just like, don't do that stuff because enough bans and things happen, and they have to do extra work to do it. They're just gonna be like, you know what, it was a good run, but that's it. And then like, we're gonna rely on EA to run tournaments, like. That hasn't happened since the Virgin series, and they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, that was 2011. So
our buddies that run the tournament, they deal with other stuff during the day. They don't want to deal with banning people over stupid stuff. And
I have listened in to them having to go to like executives and be like, what should we do in this situation? And it's like, anyways, so again, I just
if you're wanting to know what we're alluding to, you can go to Duncan Daly's Twitter.
Yes, you can go to Duncan. Yes, that's a perfect way to say it. Yes, if you go to Duncan Daly's Twitter, you can find out everything, the extra stuff that happened afterwards. Which, and again, if you were to read that, it makes things very spicy as we go into more of the tournaments. Let's actually, perfect example, the Leafs Gaming League. So the Leafs Gaming League is the Toronto Maple Leafs club championship. So there's 32 club championships, and we're going to get the final two of every team that's in the NHL. They're running these online tournaments. Some of them are in person, but most of them are online. And those two representatives that make the finals, they're actually the reps going into the World Championship phase, and they don't have to qualify through the open play because there will be an open play in March or February. I think it's February. And like February, Hut Champs, it's like Hut Champs again. And then they could skip that entirely, so you get like the ease of knowing that you've already made it, right? And there's some money involved. I think there's like $2,000 a tournament, something like along those lines. But the Leafs Gaming League, they haven't done a tournament in a year or so. They skipped last year, and man, one of the better tournaments that I've been involved in. They always kind of try and buck the trend. They've always done that because remember the one before was like everyone would qualify in 1v1 and then we had to draft like a sixes thing. It was great. Like they always try something new. But this new one, so my man Tris, who developed my website or my Hut database website, Hut Hub and the app, he was actually he's making something for my Discord where you can search cards that you can just pull up with a command. And he had no idea about Discord. He's a software engineer. He had no idea about Discord. So I was just kind of telling him, and he was messing around with LG and the site. And then he's like, man, I think I can set something up here pretty cool. He managed to figure out a way to, when you sign up for the Leafs Gaming League, you would have to use your Discord. You'd have to attach your Discord account. It would automatically put you in the Leafs Gaming Discord. So there's no, I got to go find this link. I got to sign up. I got to do all of this. It automatically puts you in. And then on top of that, you could search for a game, find results, find standings, find scores, all with a command in Discord. And it was one of the most convenient things. And I was like, dude, you have something here that is not just for the NHL, but like FIFA and Madden. Like I strongly believe he is going to sell this for a lot of money to another esports company or something, because essentially how it worked was Monday and Friday this past week, you would sign up on Leafs Gaming League or on LG, and then it put you in the thing. And for 4 hours, from 7 to 11 p.m., you just searched. And you got whoever was searching. And you had to play your game, and it was an ELO system. So if you beat someone way high up, you gained a ton of points, and that person lost a ton. If you beat someone that was way lower than you, you only gained a few points. And definitely the most competitive way to do an event. Because what we ended up seeing was the Xbox... Dude, that Xbox bracket... That was a gauntlet.
Oh, 100%. That was crazy.
Bro, like it was regs. He had to beat HK in the first round, and then he had to play Sky. And that's like 3 of like the top 6 players in the world. And that was just one side to get to the second day. And we're about to have that on Friday. Uninstall versus CAD. You know, we had, and then Gren, what the storyline that was so crazy was that on Monday, Gren and Deli had a big feud on that one night. And there was a chance that Gren and Deli were going to play each other to go to Toronto, to the Leafs land that they're having the day after the All-Star game. We were denied that as Delhi and Gren both lost.
I would love to have seen that.
Dude, I was sitting there and I'm like, I haven't really been that invested for a certain matchup since like Josh and Gren, when Josh and Gren just hated each other back like in 2019. But man, because it's so funny to watch people play this game, and with all of the problems that it has and everything like that, and just two dudes hate each other. And it's like known, and it's not even that they want to win so bad, it's that they don't want to lose to that person. And there's not enough of that in this community, in my opinion. I don't think there's enough. There's not enough rivalries. I love it. It makes as long as you stay above the belt, and a lot of it was not above the belt this weekend.
Oh, no.
It was not. It got
there was
nasty.
some eyebrow raising stuff in there.
It was very Call of Duty, and you got to toe the line. You got to be careful with that. But it was also like by the Leafs Gaming League, everyone was sitting there like, please, for the love of God. Deeks beat Gren, and Boyley beat Duncan in best of threes. They both went best of three. Delhi lost in overtime of game 3, so it was crazy. But the Leafs Gaming League is still going on. We're going to find out who the final 4 are that go to Toronto, but just a really good format. And I'm curious to see like how it can be adopted. It's not clean. It's not like fully flushed out, but it was really well done with the integration of Discord, because anyone that's competitive uses Discord, right? And but yeah, let's move on. Unless you guys have anything to say.
Eki now?
Yeah, we got to talk about the other drama. So I actually watched this because there's a European creator that for anyone that doesn't know, I like look at every creator. If you have 5 viewers, I'm on the morning and at night, I'm looking for new creators, because I love seeing people on the come up and like, what they're trying, and sometimes I'll reach out to them, and it's just fun for me. It's something I like doing because I remember when I was there. And I think his name is Sopali or Supali. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It's not the last time we're going to hear of him. But he's been like crushing it in Hut this year. And I've been watching his streams a little bit, and then I realized he was playing Eki in the European World Championship thing. They have a tournament going on that's, kind of like the All-Star event. I don't think it's a LAN. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Because the European side I don't tend to pay super hard attention to until they get to the LAN phase. But it was for a big portion of that tournament. They played each other. And man, what did you guys think of that clip of how Eki finished the last 8 minutes of that game?
I mean, doesn't that perfectly describe what we were worried about with NHL 24 when they introduced the full pressure system?
It was
like
rough.
To a T. That is exactly what people said was going to be a problem. And you have like Eki, who is like, he's like the king of EU, right? If there's one guy that would probably be able to not lose the puck, it's going to be him. Mm-hmm. And he showed exactly that if he decided that the other guy wasn't going to touch the puck, you are not going to touch the puck.
Yeah, like it's so funny too, because this is the first time I've ever seen Eki get any criticism, because I've met him a number of times. He's one of the nicest dudes, and he's very competitive, and for the most part, he doesn't rely on glitches. Uses them, but doesn't rely on them. So that when people watch him play, it's more of like a and then
he plays like very high level, high IQ hockey kind of thing.
And
right?
then
really
when he comes
plays.
When he comes to North America, he struggles, and there's a reason for that, because like over here we're just ruthless. It's like they just want to win, right? So Padre, what did you think of like that, and what was your take on it? Because Bacon Country started roasting Eki for this clip, which was wild. He made his one tweet a year. He came out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I actually replied to it, and I'm surprised. I didn't even realize how much traction I got on it. But I was like, yep, this is the game they have given us, not your fault. What's funny is if you have a good rep in this community, no one will complain about this. But if you have a bad rep, then you get crucified. Mm-hmm. Why I say that is because Eki has a great reputation, and he could do that. And I guarantee, yes, I understand on Twitter. I mean, Twitter's a cesspool.
Him and Red, like I said, this is the first time I've ever seen him get roasted.
But no one's gonna complain probably for like watching him on Twitch. Mm-mm. But if Duncan Deli does it or if Sky does it, they get roasted relentlessly for it.
Yeah, well, just like Duncan's stuff, Eki's stuff got thrown into the casual stuff, because like now Bacon Country isn't a comp player, so when he's tweeting, all the guys that follow him, or at least a vast majority, are casuals. So they're gonna erupt because they hate that kind of gameplay, which is totally fair enough. Like Eki, like the guy went, watch this, let me change my lines, and he sends all of his guys out of the zone, and Eki doesn't even go to the net. Like, that was where it was. And then when I looked at that, I was like, now that is a really tough look. Like if someone is like showing you exactly like that to a T showed that he had no intention of going to the net, but and Eki's not wrong. He's like, how can you fault me?
That's it. No, that's the thing.
I'm trying to keep the puck, and this is comp. Yep. This is a comp game. This is World Championships. I'm doing what I need to do to win. Mm-hmm. And that's just the game that we were provided. Yes. It's like you can't be mad at the comp players for playing like that, but as a casual, you can absolutely be pissed off that comp is like that. There's no reason for them to be like, hey, you know what? I understand it's comp gameplay. They're gonna be like, well, they get mad at a lot of stuff, right? Like any kind of glitch goal to get upset about, understandable. But like the problem is that it got so blown up in the casual community by Bacon.
That's the thing.
Now they're like this. They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
this is BS.
It's like the quick wrap now, but now they know how to do it. Like they realize. Like, that was, like, the thing I took away from that. Is like, so, for anyone, again, that hasn't seen the clip, Super Lee and Eki are playing in their best of 3, and it's 1-1 in the series. And this is game 3, and it's 8 minutes left in the third. Eki doesn't lose the puck in the offensive zone. And there's a point at which, I saw a lot of the comments, I'm going through and all, it's like, dude, look how passive the guy's playing on defense. You got to understand, if you pull the wrong guy out of position against Eki or anyone like that, you're toast. It's a goal against. But on top of that, when he goes to switch his lines, like Super Lee is literally like, my guys have 0 energy. This is pointless. I'm just going to go for a line change. It's literally 5-on-2, and Eki stays at the point, doesn't move it. So his sole intention was to just hold on to the puck, keep full pressure, and that creates a glaring issue in the competitive scene, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think that on the North American side, they play so fast that like you don't see that as much. Because Europeans are normally very passive in gameplay. It's crazy that you see it, but like that's usually how it is, right? Like it's usually like that. But I don't know. It was pretty wild to see. And here's what I want. I was talking to HK about it, and HK goes, "The solve for this is full pressure lasts 15 seconds." And I was like, "That's probably it. Like if it's only 15 seconds, it forces you to have to use those 15 seconds to shoot because that's really what you're waiting for." Right, like you're waiting for your opponent to just shoot so that you can either get a rebound or a save and then either hold the puck and move on, right? But the fact that it's 30 seconds, it's like, man, you can just sit a real 30 seconds. Like that's the thing. So I don't know if you guys agree or disagree or what.
Yeah,
I think we've been saying this whole year that they're going to constantly need to adjust this system just because it's so new. That they're gonna like if they decide to bring it back again next year, which I'm assuming they're going to.
It's not going anywhere.
Like there's room for improvement on it. Like maybe the energy doesn't absolutely because like the problem is your energy just gets tanked.
If they have truculence,
the moment that you're on full pressure, you are like you're going from like full like because you're probably really if you get full pressured, your guy's stamina is probably at 2/3 very like max. You're down to 0 within like 10 seconds, and like your guys aren't like really moving. Like maybe they nerf that debuff to like your energy a bit, so that because it's the moment that your guys are full pressured plus 0 energy, you can't get the puck back. You can't win a single puck battle.
You just sit there. You can't chase.
Yeah, you had to go into full skill zone and full just clench your butt cheeks and hang on for dear life. Don't let them get like into like your slot pretty much.
You know what's funny go ahead.
I was gonna say it's not really realistic. Like we were saying at the beginning of the year, like it's like it's like an arcadey thing to create a real life results, but the way that it's being used like that is so. It's so not real life hockey, and now we're seeing like this with like this example from Eki's stuff is that we're not really getting genuine hockey, and I can understand why the casual community is going to be upset about it.
You know what's funny? Some of my replies had the best response to everyone being like, "Look how passive these guys are playing. This guy is not. He's not being aggressive on defense." Right? The guy replied, if you have ever watched an NHL game in which a team on defense gets stuck out there for 2 minutes, then you think that they play aggressive. The first thing that happens when dudes run out of energy, full box, whether it's 5 men, it doesn't matter, and they're just waiting because The offensive team doesn't sit there and wait for your guys to be out of energy and then make a bunch of passing plays for a goal. They're firing on the net. Like they're actively trying to score the whole time. Whereas like, and you're just basically, again, all you're doing in that situation when a team gets stuck out there for 2 minutes defending a cycle is you're trying to push everyone out of the way so that your goalie can see it so he can stop it. Stu, I'm accurate in that statement?
Yeah, they all just, like you said, they collapse and
You're just trying to get out of the way so your goalie can stop it and hold on to the puck. And this is like an example of like, okay, they need to figure out a way in NHL 25 or however long of how to force the person that has full pressure to do something. And I think that if you make it only 15 seconds, like, then you gotta go. And you know,
like this is your window. I actually really like that. That's a good idea. 30 seconds is a long time in game.
The other one that HK had, I don't play FIFA. Do you guys play FIFA at all? Have you ever dabbled?
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
FIFA has a button where you can literally command your closest AI to come attack with you. And if you could hit like circle twice and your like strong side player just comes in with you, that changes the game entirely. Because then it's not man to man, and man to man in NHL is a disaster because you're just waiting. It's ping related most of the time because it's whoever can go left and right fastest, you know? So if you could get an AI to come and attack with you, that would be one of the biggest improvements, I think, to the game that we'd seen in quite some time. And it's in FIFA, so I don't know. I just think that was an interesting suggestion.
I also said with the pressure meter, stop having it like go all the way up or like halfway, 75% of the way up, whatever you want to call it. Like with turd shots from like the blue line. And then it always seems like the offensive team that takes the bad shot, they always get the puck back, it feels like. I don't understand, like
because your defender gets the nerf when they turn around.
Yeah,
and that skating nerf.
Like when I get shots from the blue line in real life, it's like, okay, thanks. Like easy
Turned
save.
over.
Yeah, like I'm gonna either suck it in or I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna put it down, and I'm gonna play it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or usually when I get a shot from the blue line, I'm either gloving it or it's weak enough to where I'm literally able to grab it, stop it, drop it, and then just like play it myself. Or if it's so hard and I can't control it, I kick it up into the glass. So it's like it's hardly ever where I'm like getting a shot from the blue line in real life and then I'm kicking it right back to the other team. Like that never happens. I don't understand why in this game it always feels like the other team is like full of Shaquille O'Neals.
You know what's funny? It's like, remember how this whole thing about the full pressure system is we've said it this a number of times, it's a very arcadey way to try and create realistic results. It's like, because you can't dump and chase in Chel, it's like that's their way to dump and chase.
Kinda, yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, and they're promoting it. So, perfect example that I've noticed over the last few weeks is that they have nerfed goalie passing so hard that I don't know if you've ever been dunked on more, and maybe you don't because in the last year than in prior games. But when you go throw the puck out, you have to be so clear in a way, and we've talked about this in the podcast, but like I am 1000% certain that they nerfed that so that you are more inclined to hold on to the puck. Because that's not a realistic thing in game, right? Like, how many times do you see a goalie actually play the puck out when they're in the defensive zone? You hold on to it for the face-off.
10% of the time max,
exactly.
And not even.
And like
twice a game.
Maybe 10% would they actually hold on to it when we were playing Chel, right? So that's, just a crazy weekend, and it's just getting started. So, which is great because this was just the All-Star Open. And so the top 8 on each console, they're going to play, and we're going to find out who's going to go. And, that's something. Next.
The last thing was fantasy.
Yeah, let's talk about fantasy a little bit. So we got Oliver Bonk. You're welcome to anyone listen to my video when it first came out. CHL Defenders, I told you. I got to see Oliver Bonk play a couple times. They just command the puck in the OHL. It's crazy. Like, that's it. So, do you have him?
I'm going to buy him.
For how much?
But I don't have him yet. It depends. I don't know. I'm deciding if I buy one today for what he's going for, because he's going for about 1.75, or if I wait for tomorrow and see if they pull a crazy move and throw him in team of the week. Because we forgot to go over this last week, but the whole progression system changed this year.
Yes, let's
talk now it's a glaring thing that now they can't give Bonk a lower than 99 card if they decide to give him a card. It has to be 99 because that's his progression path.
Give the example because people asked about this.
Okay, so basically, the one they did recently was JT Miller. So he went quickly from an 86 overall up to 89 for his fantasy. then he got a Moments card, which came out as a 90. So not only do they make your fantasy card, when you get an upgrade, it's 1 up from your fantasy card. So now say if Miller, now that he's a 90, say if he scores a couple more and he goes up to being a 93, if he got another Moments card, he's going to be a 94. So the problem with like this being the way the progression works, especially for like in the middle, when you get into like the low 90s kind of territory, is that if you're holding on the fantasy card, like you're holding onto a huge like injury liability, or if they decide to just stop playing well,
you're assuming all the risk.
It's a lot of risk. Whereas the guy can go grab like the 90 Miller for like 100K, whereas his fantasy card goes for over $1 million. So the problem with in comparison to last year is that last year you got like that was the only way to get like the 99 overall card. And with this year too, when they mix and match like the X factors, there's 4 X factors that have like a fantasy card. You can just go and get like Doughty's X factor, and you don't have to deal with the risk of the fantasy card, because say if Doughty gets injured, like because he has a 94 after today because he scored again today. Mm-hmm. But what if like he gets hurt and like, okay, well he's captain 94, you can just go and like rip all your power up collectibles from him and throw it somewhere else and get like 2/3 of your value back. Whereas with the fantasy card, you're holding on to a card that can't go up any higher.
Exactly.
I just disagree with the change this year for that.
They didn't even announce it, bro. I didn't notice it until I was putting cards in a Hut Hub, and it was like a month ago, and I realized that Raymond got an 88, and I'm like, wait, what in the world?
Yeah, he went 84 to 88,
yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute. So his fantasy card is an 87, and his Moments card's an 88, and then you went and confirmed, like, hey, is this how this works? And they confirmed 100% this is like what we're doing. And then I immediately went and sold all my fantasy cards. I was like, I don't want anything to do with fantasy now, because I don't want to be holding on to the bag and get caught. Although, like the thing is with like Bonk's sake, if your card just goes off over the course of a week and goes from he went from 89 to 99 within a week, right?
The OHL, so man, they just rip pucks on, dude.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get that with the NHL like cards. Most likely, that's just not gonna happen. Like Doughty he's not scoring 5 goals in a week. It's not happening. So I'm just gonna say, like flat out, I 100% disagree with this change.
Same.
I think it screws with fantasy, and this is like there's 3 events we have a year that are like our big events. There's fantasy, team of the year, and team of the season, and this is messing up one of the 3 biggies.
I agree, and I think that team of the year is different because those cards give +3 to each synergy. Their abilities are all amazing for the most part. So like that's like the little bit in fantasy. It's like they get 3 synergies, but it's +1 to each. And then like their abilities are good, but like some of them aren't early on. Like Stu, next year, are you going to invest in fantasy cards?
No, I never have any coins to do it.
Yeah, but like I mean, you made some this year. Like you actively tried.
I made Chikrin, yeah, but that was just with fodder. So it's like it's hard for me to make or to buy them. You know what I mean? I never get a lot of coins.
So tomorrow is like one of the most interesting content days that we've had with this new content team by far. So at the time of this recording, this is Tuesday night, okay? Going into Wednesday. This will be uploaded Wednesday morning. So Wednesday night, today, is Team of the Week comes out. First of all, the fantasy card the player has to earn a live moment or a card to actually get the progression, right? Just because if Oliver Bonk just scored 1 goal over the 4 games and he just scored 1 goal each game, nothing crazy, but he just accumulated a bunch of goals. Like there's really no reason to give him a team of the week or anything like that, because that still needs to happen. However, he had 11 points in 3 games. So he is 1,000% deserving of a Team of the Week card more than any other OHL player. And EA tweeted him out. I saw that today. They tweeted out the London Knights, which I can't stand, and that Oliver Bonk got 99. So they promoted it a little bit. So when Team of the Week comes out, if they don't abandon what they've been doing, we should have a 99 Team of the Week Oliver Bonk. And at that point, like the price, like I don't even know what happens. That'll be the most crazy hour on the market you're ever going to see, because people are going to panic sell Oliver Bonk's fantasy card, and people are going to overpay on the Team of the Week. Like it's just going to be a mess because there's never been a precedent to what to do in this situation. So, do you think they do the 99?
The thing is, they didn't bump up the endurance either, though, which is really
They gave him 2 synergies, though. They did give him 2 synergies. You can get to 88.
So but he's not 99 endurance.
No,
like,
no.
So, yeah.
It
So
is
they're kind of staying true to like the endurance thing, where they're keeping endurance no matter what. They're not, at least so far. Unless, what if he scores again? Maybe his endurance then goes up. Because I remember there was Duchesne's card from 2 years ago. He got to 99, but he still had stats that weren't quite 99.
Yeah.
And every time he scored, it would bump up those stats into 99.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be huge. He also has 99 draws, too. You can put him on first lane on the power play. I mean, we've got it. He's a hut first card now. Imagine that. You just use his hut first card.
No, please, no.
Thank God we got another week of that in. My God.
Dude, that was so that when we talked about Hubverse, I didn't have as much of a problem with it as you. I'm not like big on it, but my fear was if they just keep releasing like 5 a week, it's gonna get real lame when.
Oh, don't worry.
And-
A little birdie told me in my ear that they were contemplating doing mascots this year in the game.
Oh man.
Thank God
Please
that little
never
birdie.
go down the Gritty route. I do not want to see Gritty laying out my.
Remember that
overboard.
time that we got him in the game with accidentally?
Yeah,
with
they accidentally put Wild Wing in the game.
Yo, that was a great night of
I'm
hut.
telling you right now, dude. If they ever did that, like I would be done.
It's
like,
tough, man. Like I said,
be
dude, the player base skews old and traditional. I think, you know what I mean. Putting the players on, it's like okay, sure.
Putting mascots in the game, an old player base would be like a 10-year-old would even think that's dumb.
Yeah, no, I fully agree there.
How about this? I'll ask my son tomorrow. I'll say,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, question for you, Finn. Would you like to see him in hut? We'll see. No. See, there you go. Even my 9-year-old doesn't want it.
So we've got a couple of other cards coming out. Matthew Tkachuk is gonna get a team of the week, for sure. So he'll be 93. Yeah, but on top of that, just quick before we end, couple of cards you think will get 99 next. Obviously, Doughty's a 94, so that's low hanging fruit. Dude, Rasmus Anderson has been on kind of a low key tear, and I was watching the game tonight. He just pumps it on the power play. I think he's what Chikrin was expected to be. I don't know, but any other like Tavo's at 90, and I have a fear that he is just gonna be at like 94 at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I
and
can see that.
I also think team builders are coming up because I noticed they put in the pack store, they put the 2-for-1 84 team builders.
That's the next thing, right? Like I think this
gotta
next
be soon, right?
the next event is All Star, at least by math, like because 2 weeks from now is the All Star event, and it would still be going on, I think. So it's got to be All Star, and if it's not, then it'd be like a 1 week event or something in between. And I'm so
At
curious
least for progression of how the game is going, I think the 93 team builders are due. They need
I
to
think
come
it's
out
gonna be
just
early
for
February,
how the game
man.
is.
Early February,
Which is okay. I mean, I feel like they should be coming out now because you got like they're no longer like the premier cards, aren't they? Like they're supposed to be like the top end cards, whereas like there's quite a few cards
We're
now
getting
that
a
are
little
like
long in the tooth. What was
that
the
are trumping them.
Well, the issue now is that Team of the Year is the only cards that are really into the mid 90s. There's a few like Kucherov and whatnot. But no, I guess you're right. Maybe first week of February would be like the time. I still think it's a little early.
Like Leclerc is kind of falling off your team at this point potentially. I mean, Modano is obviously going to still be like in your top 6. He's a great card. But like I can see like because now you got like your Makar in the lineup, you got your Heiskin in the lineup potentially if you have one, which now bumps your 2 left-handed team builders down. So at least personally for me, I would love to see the 93s come out like in the next week or two.
You got to consider why I don't think it'll happen in the next 2 weeks. Casual, the Christmas Andes just got the game. They are dealing with everyone having McKinnon and McDavid at least, right?
Those poor guys.
Then, dude, there's no way they have team builders, and now you're gonna throw everyone having team builders. Now you have 4 more 93 overall just units. Like I don't see how because that would just.
I mean, I get it. Okay, that's totally fair. Like I mean, those poor guys, they're just getting at like they're sitting there with like their base Teravainen, and then they go up against like first line. Everyone has Wayne Gretzky on it.
No.
Oh my.
Stu's falling asleep, so we gotta wrap this thing up. All right. So next week, will be our new event. Yeah, we'll get a new event this Friday. Hopefully, it's an All-Star event. Oh, before we go. Thing about the All-Star, which I'm actually super interested in, is the All-Star game works way different now. Like the skills competition over the last few years has been one of the cooler things about Hut because whoever wins like hardest shot, slap shot accuracy, and power gets jacked up to 99, which used to be a little bit more important, but now like a lot of players have that. But Now it's like 12 players, and then the All-Star skills. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The 12 players start. They all do fastest skater, and then I think like the 8 top guys
Like
go
points,
on,
right?
and the top guys go on, and then it's 7 guys left, then 6, and then they get down to like 1. I'm pretty sure I might have that wrong, but I don't know how they're gonna do the skills competition for like thing. In my opinion, dude, just if someone pops off and wins 7 events, multiple 99 attributes, just let them run the potential to run wild. That would make the all-star skills competition for hut players so sick. Like if you went out there and you got McDavid, right? And I'm going to use McDavid as a perfect example because if he gets the fastest skater, he's already got 99 speed, right? So it's like, even if he wins that event, it's like, who cares, right? But then let's say he wins hardest shot. Now his slap shot power actually goes to 99. And then he wins like the passing one or whatever they have. And then he wins the shootout one. And it's like his deacon goes to 99. Like, I think that would be sick. And it won't be McDavid that does it. It'll be like Nylander.
One of your mid guys one of your newer guys to like the All-Star game that tries a little harder than your veterans. Yeah.
Like if Frank Vetrano got voted into it, like but dude, this is also for $1 million. So McDavid, I guess, worked really hard with the PA to make the All-Star event more enticing. And I guess they're giving the winner of the skills competition $1 million. Dude, even if McDavid wins that, that's 1/10 of his salary. Like, you're telling me that they're not going to be going all out in every event? Like, it's the first year that I think the All-Star event, the skills competition specifically, is going to be sick. So, anyways, that was a long one. Or actually, it was a normal one. But there was a lot of stuff covered in there. Hopefully this week we have no drama next episode. Let's go a week where the community just settles down, all right? Simmer down. We're going to turn this bus around. All right, fellas. We will see you next week. Have a good one.